Dr. Ojadi, it's all about the cost of managing a city. If you look at other mega cities around the world, what does it tell you about what we really need to do and how much do we really need to invest to run a mega city? Lagos has hundreds pouring in every day as visitors. Some of them not necessarily are living in the city, but they just want to come, buy and sell. Some feel that gold, you can find it just on the streets of Lagos. There's money to be picked up on the streets of Lagos. So some of us who are youngsters got headed up country many years ago, and we came all the way to Lagos thinking that there's free money on the street of Lagos. So Lagos is a home to everyone, the nature of his business and his social structure. So what does the experience and lessons from other mega cities teaching the current administration on how to move forward?
Yeah, one thing that is very clear here is from the political angle, you've had just one party running the Lagos affairs, and that has brought about some element or some significant element of what? Continuity in terms of really looking at the issues as they occur and then making adequate plans to tackle them. Bola Tinubu started very well by getting the Lamata and the bus transit system running. Then Fashola built on it and also went ahead to really initiate the blue lines and so on, the rail lines that are also coming up. And of course now the current administration has taken this bull by the horn and also doing well to try to address some of these issues. We think that this level of continuity should be maintained over time to be able to address the teeming population getting into Lagos. You can't really stop them. But what is interesting here is also the fact that there is need for us to begin to build what I will call the outer city facilities that will enable most of these big trucks and passenger vehicles coming into Lagos to dock at these ends and discharge their cargo and passengers such that the other mass transit trucks and co can then take on that journey from that point and bring it down, rather than allowing everybody to keep coming in and converging in Lagos. So I think the administration is really mindful of this issue, and they're doing all they can to try and get it done. But also, on the other hand, you look at the port section, which is really a nightmare in terms of the volume of traffic of commercial vehicles that apply those roads. They are also beginning to understand really the root cause of this problem, which is essentially the fact that the many owner-manager or owner-driver trucks that line up at Apapa to carry the little load being pushed in from there are now going to really be taken care of. So you have very clearly defined vehicles that have clearly no need to get to the port that should actually get to the port, rather than just queuing on that long stretch of our road to market their services. So I think this administration and the political will is there to drive and address this issue.
There's a recent report, very recently, that Lagos is one of the worst cities to live in the world, number 3 by that report. So the cost of doing business, of life and living in Lagos. You live all the way downtown. What's your experience in that axis of the city, all the way from Victoria Island, Ikoyi, Lekki, and Ajah, all the way around to Ekpe? Do you see the evidence that the Lagos is populated? Is it overpopulated? And what needs to be done about population control, one way or the other?
Yeah, one thing is clear along that axis. Again, what comes to mind immediately is the fact that you have a lot of people using the roads only. That's the only means of movement. And this road has been up there without what I will call the side roads that will enable those who don't really have anything to do on the main road to use. That is not existing. And I also remember that we've had talks regarding getting the third road by the beach. No one is saying much about that. So what that boils down to is the fact that you still have a lot of vehicles moving, just 1 or 2 guys, not fully utilized, coming onto the road. And that will be accentuated now that the schools will soon be reopening. So that kind of spikes up to what I would call high level of congestion, which results in delays.
In that axis is your own school.
High cost of doing business.
The Lagos Business School. Your school is also there.
Most of the schools.
Yes, the Lagos Business School. The Lagos Business School.
Yeah, it is there, but we also experience this.
Yes, I know, because that's your main gauge of your school right there on that same road, and if I go through that road,
correct,
to get into your facility, into Lagos Business School, could be a serious nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The point is simply that we're not so clear as to, that is my opinion, I'm not so clear as to what level of work is being done on that dual carriageway, because we've had some of the roundabouts changed into far more better means of processing traffic. But going further down towards it, but we haven't seen much happening in those areas that will perhaps help knock down the congestion that we are experiencing along those roads. And we think it's an area of importance to look at. Now, keep in mind that we also have situations where we have all manner of economic activities happening along just that road, such as livestock sales and stuff like that. These things are adding to the congestion and creating what I will call very serious environmental issues. So it is really important that the state government will also look at along that road and then see exactly what needs to be done to get it fixed. One thing clearly, though, is the fact that that is just the only road we have. And that is really creating a problem.
Yes, Dr. Ojadi, along that corridor.
The environment, yeah.
Yes, along that corridor, respectful cutting there. Along that corridor is the Lekki Free Trade Zone, which will house a refinery.
That's right.
Dangote refinery by the year 2020, when it gets into full operation. So you have more workers, more people coming in there. Lagos State, Nigeria, they win everybody to get that free trade zone up and running. That will increase a number of things, perhaps more articulated vehicles, petrol tankers, diesel tankers, whatever. We don't know what will happen by 2020. So that's where you work and live. So do you see the urgency, therefore, to fix things on in that axis?
There is still real urgency to get things done. Apparently, before you get onto building a port there or building a very active free trade zone there, you need to fix the roads leading to these places, the access roads to these places. But the reverse was the case. Now, incidentally, there has been quite some level of work being done at the Ekpe axis. But I do not think that the bulk of the cargo that will be coming out of this free trade zone will be heading towards Ekpe. They will be heading towards Lagos. And that means it will really spike up the degree of congestion along the Lekki-Ekpe road. And it's a real issue for the state government to worry about, because they are fully very much aware of this impending situation and chaotic situation that may arise once this free trade zone gets underway. I think it's something that needs to be addressed as we are looking, as we are moving towards the opening of these ports and the other activities in this trade zone. So it's a thing of concern to everyone, and the area will now begin to think of using other means to move cargo from this trade zone, the better for us.
Dr. Frank Ojadi, researcher and faculty member of the Lagos Business School, thank you very much for your time.